Right, welcome to another study. Now this one is about this concept here, which is called Vashwaguru. Now as you see here, President Joseph Biden, world stage thing and all this. And basically this concept came into being, Vashwaguru. And it's about India emerging as a world teacher. Vashwaguru, or world teacher. So this is like an international, like UN and all this type of thing of the Indian becoming like the world teacher. So therefore, that's why they're putting them out in all the different countries to fulfill this rule type of thing. So of course, this is part of it, right? Buddha. Obviously nowadays, right? Or like just about every house world has a statue of Buddha or something. Right? Of course, Buddha is Indian. People think it's obviously Oriental, Chinese, but it's actually Indian. And as you see by this, there's a Buddha with an Indian face. And of course, this Vashwaguru thing. Universe, like Catholic, like Catholic is universal, right? So basically you're talking about Catholic schools. I haven't read that Catholic schools are full of Indians, no, right? Of course in the old days you thought that being Catholic was something to do with being Irish or something, right? In actual fact now it's Indians, it's saying the Catholic schools are just full of Indians. Right, so you see how this comes in, global teacher, right? This is what they do, like shipping Indians all over the world in the Western societies to basically be the world teachers. Now, obviously that is a bit strange, but this is the rule what they're playing, right? And as I say, democratic renewal, obviously change. The democracy, what's existed as democracy in the Western lands, right? And renew it and change it, I suppose that goes into the Reform Party as well, that Reform Party, renewal, reform, it's basically the same thing. Obviously that Reform Party's got that Pakistani Muslim in, right? And as we know, Pakistan's just a vassal state of India, they're all in together. But half the population of India is Muslim anyway, so the religion makes no difference, right? The religion's just obviously a smokescreen, like you've got like a difference between a church of Protestantism or baptism or something in Britain. They're the same people, aren't they? There's people there of the same ethnic race and all that. It's just like a slight difference in a belief system or something, which of course is garbage anyway, fantasy anyway, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, no one believes in the gods floating around or whatever, right? So it's about importing this world teacher idea around the world, and specifically the Western world, right? And as I was saying about Reform Party, I watched something on the news yesterday about Reform Party, and we're talking about introducing a new British Bill of Rights. Getting rid of the old, reforming the old law, right? Which is Magna Carta law and the English Bill of Rights and Forestry Bill and all this stuff that exists as law, right? And this woman who was a reform, right? They were talking about scrapping all that and bringing in a new British Bill of Rights, right? Now obviously, what that's going to consist of, a new British Bill of Rights is going to be incorporating the bloody Indians into as British citizens, because currently in standing, right, in real lawful terms, an Indian has no lawful standing in Britain under Magna Carta laws and all that. See, so if they change this and reform and bring about a new British Bill of Rights, it sounds sort of good on the surface, with all the type of hyperbolic about Muslim and etc. Right? But essentially it's going to incorporate the Indians into the British into being British citizens, So on a current standing, they have no rights whatsoever in Britain. And that's why they're wishing to democratically renew, change the democracy over so that bloody foreigners, Indians, can be considered as British or Canadian or Australian or whatever, type of thing. So basically, this Reform Party, right, as you see it there, right, it's obviously meant to trick people into thinking, the British people, British people's rights, but of course in the same sentence as this, Zaya Yusuf, well, that's clearly not British, right? And this is just trickery, they're talking about British people's rights. Like I say, they're going to include the immigrants in the British people's rights. So India, Bengal, Bangladeshis, all that will become British under this new jigging around of law, which it's unlawful to do that anyway, because Magna Carta thing was supposed to be like forever, the law thing was supposed to be stood forever, as long as the British people existed, you know what I mean? It was about the British bloodlines and families and all that. So it was supposed to stand forever. So obviously if they changed the population, demographically changed the population or what it is, they didn't have to keep with Magna Carta, they could just do away with it. Bring in a new supposed called British Bill of Rights, which will include Indians, Pakistanis, etc. as British people, which they currently are not under current lawful standards, see what I mean? And there's some of there against the British Bill of Rights. So someone must be onto that already, that it's fake, to change and bring about a new British Bill of Rights. And all the lawful stuff is already in place, to obviously stop bringing in immigrants and all that, you know what I mean? But this is trickery, it's trickery. These are working in collaboration with the Indians, type of thing, to bring about the world leaders, the world teachers, Vashwagurus, I mean, millions coming in now, nothing. You're going to be something to do with that, planning to repeal human rights laws. It's some trickery, it's some trickery to overturn existing, rights for the native British people, as they say, So it's basically, right, this is why you have the ideas about the rubber dinghy people, right, the rubber dinghy and the illegal migrants, right, is to cover up and distract from this. And what you're seeing come into Britain in these Western countries is they're importing the Indian middle class, right? They've spent the last sort of 40 years or whatever destroying the traditional middle class of the European people, right? And the working class. They destroyed middle class and working class. And now what they're doing is basically shipping in a replacement middle class from India, right? And pretty soon they're going to be also importing a working class. And obviously there isn't much work now, there isn't industrial production or anything like that what you can call work, right? But there may be a revitalisation of them things in the future, but it'll be for Indians, right? This is why they recently done that trade deal. What was it? Stormer or something, done a trade deal. Right, and there you go. This trade deal, right, which was done. There's your hex and star straight in the middle of it. And benefiting both the UK and India. Well, this is meant to allow all Indian workers to come in from India and not pay any NI contributions or tax contributions or anything like that. So it just makes it that much easier for Indians to come in. So basically what you can have is an Indian employee starting a factory in Britain, right, utilising all the type of British, I don't know what you describe it as, whatever's there in terms of utilities, craftsmanship and tradesmanship and all that, right? And basically import his own workforce from India So no British person whatsoever, other than the councillor or MP for that region, is benefiting from it at all. So it's basically a tax cut type idea, And obviously there's backhanders galore going on with the MPs and councillors and all that, and that's what it's about. The normal Briton, a working class person whatsoever, So get part of the takeover,